Hello, this is Sullivan Brill from Sullivan Brill, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about DWI arrests here in New York City. Now, DWI arrests are a high priority for the NYPD. On a regular basis, the NYPD will pull over drivers who they believe are in an intoxicated or an impaired condition. And it's important to remember that the decisions that a driver makes when pulled over will be important in determining the course of the case. Immediately upon being pulled over, a police officer will ask drivers certain questions about where they've been, where they're going, how much they've had to drink, how many drinks they've had, and depending on those answers, there may come a point where the driver will be asked to exit the vehicle. Outside the vehicle, right there at the scene, a police officer may ask a driver to engage in certain field sobriety tests and then blow in what they call an alco sensor, which is like a mini breathalyzer right there at the scene, which will determine the level of alcohol on the driver's breath. If a police officer feels there's probable cause to make an arrest for driving while intoxicated or while impaired, then that driver will be brought down to the precinct where the driver will be given further sobriety tests, and those sobriety tests will be given right there on videotape. And that videotape will be part of the case file. Then, while at the precinct, the driver will be told that a breathalyzer will be administered. And that breathalyzer is the official breathalyzer, which determines the level of alcohol in the driver's blood. Now, that number obviously is very important because there is a threshold number here in New York City as to what constitutes driving while intoxicated. And that's 0.08% of someone's blood. Now, there are decisions at that point still that a driver must make as to whether to engage in the breathalyzer and blow or whether to refuse. Either way, there are ramifications for whatever decision that driver makes. If a driver blows into the breathalyzer, then the number that appears will be the number that the prosecutor will use in order to determine whether or not there is enough evidence to show that the driver was intoxicated or impaired. If the driver refuses to take the breathalyzer, then there are significant consequences that will be handed down to the driver, innocent or guilty, just because they refuse to take the breathalyzer. So these are very difficult choices, and again, those decisions will determine the strength and weakness of the case moving forward. Now, it is important also to remember that a driver's case is also determined, and the status of their case is also determined by the reading of the breathalyzer, if the driver agreed to take the test, and also whether that driver has had any DWI convictions in their past and when those convictions were. That determines how that case will go forward at this point. And then, of course, even before a driver resolves the case, whether it be at a plea hearing or whether it be at a trial, the laws in New York require that there are license sanctions right off the bat. So it is important to really consult a lawyer as soon as possible. Obviously, it's not always practical to consult a lawyer when a driver is stopped, but as soon as possible, that driver should contact a lawyer, or that driver should contact a family member, and that family member should contact a lawyer because, as I hope I've made clear during this video, that every decision that a driver makes during the course of the arrest will affect the case as it moves forward.